What the what 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 the what the absolute what? Did you see the Revision Shader Showdown semifinals? Evil versus Flapine. I mean, watch the replay. I'm just blown away. So we have 1 hour 14 left. I realized the strange thing with the Windows version. If I move the mouse over the Windows version, the world moves faster. If I move the mouse, the world moves faster. A lot. And then, why the heck is this moving when we're not swimming? I mean, now we're swimming and it should be moving, and now we're dead and it shouldn't be moving. So something is wrong with the movement. So let's fix that movement real quick, right? I mean, fix movement bug. And we only have like 1 hour 13, so let's do a quick one. Let's do a quick one. Let's do a very, very quick one. Fix the movement. So fix the movement. So somehow the player to be read. So when we're swimming, we set the movement, right? But when we're waiting for start, I mean, maybe in this case we shouldn't be moving, right? And maybe in dying we also shouldn't be moving. Is it? Is that it already? Is that the whole problem already? I'm not looking into that Windows bug. I will not look into that Windows bug. I want to look into the loading time at some point. Okay, so we're swimming. We're swimming, we're swimming, we're swimming, and we hit the block and die. The background is still moving. Yeah, that's right, but the rest of the stuff is not moving anymore. So let's fix the background. Background is written with an A. So the background actually moves with this speed, and probably this should just be like dot movement. It's world movement, right? It's world movement, and we just multiply that by 0.5 because then we do the wrapping and everything else stays the same, right? So in theory, the background should still move with half the speed. Oh, maybe I only want the X component here. But as I said, we have an hour, so I didn't want to not stream, if you get what I mean. I wanted to make some progress. Usually I would watch the stream, be at the party, and do some coding in between, like 15 minutes here and there, which is not going to fly with the stream. So, okay, turn the background on, so background is still moving, and I die, and the background is stopped. That's better, right? That's better. Obviously, the swimming in place is kind of swimming in place. It should be circling or jumping, or maybe it should face you and smile at you. Okay, no. So, and then I start swimming again. So I think that's the movement fixed, right? So what I wanted to do is commit this, right? Nice, clean, quick bug. What I really wanted to do is, once I committed this, so updated the, well, I had some food, so that's the movement speed of the background. That's ensuring we don't move. So fix movement when dead. Right? Good enough. Rebase, push. I really should check if you have some pull requests out there. But what we did before that, basically we had this ugly, ugly singamaboo here. Right? Which is really not readable. So A, I want to get rid of the magic numbers. B, I want to get rid of this here. So why don't we... I mean, every entity needs some form of animated texture, right? Ideally, this would come from a configuration file. But right now, we do not have a configuration file. So I want to do two things. We have the entity, fish, entities, right? What if you had an entity configuration .rs? That we could just ask, hi, I need the info for the texture and everything. So what if, and what if for this we had IDs? Let's do both at the same time. So we have entity IDs, right? Is that an idea? So let's hook them both up. So we have entity mod entity configuration and pop use configuration as entity configuration. So we have an entity configuration and we have the same for the IDs, right? So mod, we're doing two things in parallel right now. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. So let's do them both, right? So we have entity IDs. Where's my... I'm not sure what button that is. So what if we had a pub enum entity ID? Let's make that... Let's derive debug. And then basically we steal the old, we steal this, because this fish is not in there. Fish is not in there. That's interesting. Let's assume they come all from a file, right? They would be... Actually, we just want this, right? These are the entity IDs, and it would be so nice. No dice. No dice, not... Can I just go down the end here? And then we do this. Nope. Oh, I collected equals this, right? And the formatting is just lousy, so no equals here. And then we say this. These two. These. Why is shift tab? I just want to format this a bit nicer. As I said, this all should come from a configuration file. and not be coded somewhere in here, but while we have it, we might as well have it in exactly one place, right? I'm not sure if Rust will like what I'm doing here. So these are entities, right? These are our entity IDs. So now we can say, instead of this, we can say, for example, let's say use create Fiiish entity configuration entity ID, right? And then here we can just say the D0 is the D05 is the rock A, so it's this one here, right? So we could just say, okay, use entity ID rocker. Much better. So if we need to entity configuration pub struct entity configuration, because we exported that, right? So this is just get rid of the magic numbers. Don't have magic numbers. 3 is a magic number, but oh, it's in entities. Still not sure about the module layout. No entity ID and entity configuration. Wait. Because it's in entity IDs, right? But didn't we say in entities, we import entity IDs and re-export that, so that should not be needed, right? Because this is this, and this is from entity IDs, which has entity ID, right? That's what we wrote in the first place. Let's ignore that for the moment. We can't do that? Sometimes Rust is just driving me crazy. I mean, okay, so technically, this is a namespace. How do we do this? This is just a constant, right? Rust namespace constants. Can I do that? I could just create a constant, yes I know, but I want it with a prefix. I mean, I could just do pub const u32 pub const entity id underscore rock a equals this. I do want the type safety, right? I can get rid of this. We do want the type safety, right? Oh, it's const, not const, obviously. It's const. So we could do it like this. And then do it like this. Windows keyboard, do it like this. I mean, long term we want to use this, right? Long term we want the type safe entity ID as a type and not the CRC, but then we cannot extend that we cannot easily extend that. So for now we'll just have both. And don't laugh at me. I said don't laugh. Now we need to unfix the mess we made. Right? Because we will need the type here, or Rust will not like us anymore. This is hacky. This is step 1 in the direction of cleanup, right? And this is where the language starts to fall apart. It's very, very type safe, but as soon as you want to make stuff dynamic, you're in for a lot of pain. I think this is as good as I will make it right now. And obviously all of these need to be semicolons, right? I want automatic mapping in both directions, from the number to the name and the name to the number. And obviously, really, okay. Not a fan. But that's one part, right? And what did I mess up now? Oh, rock A is here and here. That was our example. Okay, fair enough. So ideally, I probably would use build RS to generate this stuff, right? If I do a run release, okay, so that works, right? Almost. What did I mess up? It's not hitting this here anymore, right? Why is it all rocks now? I didn't change anything but that. It's all the obstacles are the same rock, just scaled differently. So wait, the only change I did here was this, right? That's the only change I did in the actual rock thingy. Wait, what? If I use this, it matches everything? Why? If I do this, I don't need to understand, right? So apparently, no. Let's put this back, which is the rock A, right? The DO5. So if I do this, to do matches, let's just print line that. Let's not stop there. And that is just TID rock A. And that is self.crc, right? This should only trigger for exactly this value, right? Right? Why is it even resolving that rust? You lost me. Oh, I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna say game. We put back the to-do die. This was supposed to be a quick and easy cleanup and not a fight with a language for no apparent reason. So this is a const, right? How can this const be different all the time? What the? Oh, this is not a const, this is a variable. I could just put variable here, right? I could just put variable here. No, I couldn't. Okay, and then, ah, ah, ah. I mean, we could say use create Fiiish. Oh, that's dangerous. Entities entity configuration star. Why not? I want to expose this, and this is, oh, entity IDs, and I cannot do that because because our stupid module hierarchy doesn't allow that. So I could wait. No, it's entities. Oh, wait, my bad. This, right? And then it's not exposed because the module is not public, but I cannot expose it twice. Okay, so that now works. I mean, that's dangerous, right? Okay, so it still matches because I have the wrong thingy here. But now I match the constant. And now it should only match the actual value of the constant, right? Probably I want to change the print there. Ooh, danger. 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 So now it only matches the actual value, and the actual value is x, and that will be the D05 something. So this line of code changes its behavior based on what's, so if I use the use up there, this is a constant. If I don't use the use up there, this is not a constant. So yeah, that's the D05. So let's fix this, let's remove this, and now I can do this, right? What I wanted from the start. Evil. Very evil. Oh, maybe I need to go into the game and remove the die. Okay. Got it. Fully understood. Not nice. Danger, 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 danger. Danger. And loading the image is just taking too frickin' long. Okay. So now we have the old behavior, right? Now we have the old behavior. And the nice thing is we can use, the problem is if we have a, this is, so this is rock B, I guess. The 49 is rock B. And the DO. So this is much nicer, right? This is less error prone, unless I decide to accidentally type rock B, and then everything will fall apart. This is dangerous. So now everything that is not rock A will have the size of rock B, and you can see all the sizes for the rocks are wrong. So how can we avoid this? What if you write, make this all uppercase? Will Was it because we had camel case in there? Variables should have snake case name. It is not a variable. So this still breaks. So that is dangerous, right? And we have no way of fixing that. So what we will do for now is we make them all uppercase. Yeah, please, the whole thing, not just... You make them all uppercase. Just for syntax highlighting reasons. And that's all for now. I want to work on the configuration and hope that the configuration really makes this whole bloody thing obsolete, if you get what I mean. So I would like to use this instead of this. So let's not go down this road for the moment. Let's just do a quick check, it's still running. Sorry for hitting the mic. Okay, this is still working, right? But we don't want all this logic in here, right? So we have entity configuration. Let's assume we have some way for getting our entity configuration, right? What is common? We have a size. So we do have a use create mass vector2, right? So we do have a size. Every entity has a size. That's a given. And then every entity has a configuration for the animated texture, right? So I'm going to create another pub struct animated texture configuration. Maybe config would have been enough. And an animated texture configuration has a prefix, right? Has a prefix, which is a string. It has a... Let's look into the animated texture. It has number of digits. Number of digits, which is U8. I8. After all that is... It has a first frame. And actually, to avoid confusion, I will say it has a last frame, right? Last frame. Right now we use my number of frames, but last frame, then we can just... Nobody has to do... Neighbors are at it again. Nobody has to do math there, right? So... And then... We could say we have an implementation for animated texture, and that just has a pub new, and the new gets all of that, right? Prefix string, number of digits, I8, first frame, U16, last frame, U16, and that was just do the usual self dance and just do self slef. Prefix is, oh, the auto completion there is 2 under 2 o net. This should be a string slice, right? So for flexibility, this is number of digits, first frame, last frame, right? So this is how we create such a configuration. And I actually and then we create getters for all of these, right? No, let's just make them public, right? So, and then an entity configuration creates a animated texture configuration. Configuration, that is an animated texture configuration, right? And then we could, and I'm thinking this is, we could do get a vector2 refer, well, we take ownership, right? Size, animated texture configuration. We take ownership of this and then just return a self. We could do it like this, right? And then let's say we have a pub struct entity configuration manager to be defined that has an implementation, and that says pub get config get config, and here we say, okay, this is a self, it's not a freestanding, it's a CRC U32, right? And that returns a reference to, oh, let's say it returns a reference because we always return at least one to avoid tripling through the error handling code. So that returns an entity configuration, right? So, and this basically says, let's say we have entries, right? Entries, configs. Config sounds good. So that is just a vector. Maybe it should be a hash map. Maybe it should be a hash map, right? If we look up by CRC, it should be US32 entity configuration, right? So this needs a pub new, pub function new, and I new, which will return a self. So if self.entry configs configs.length equals 0, then we have a panic try to get entity configuration without loading, right? And this is basically configs hash map new and used collections hash map, right? So somehow we fill this thing, and then when we need this thing, oh, this is nice. So the game knows about the entities, right? So the game needs the use create. Oh wait, fish is down here. Use create fish entities. Use create fish entities entity. Actually, entities. We we do our usual, we export. There would be nice to have a, can we just uplift all of these one level? So the game. Entities, entity, configuration, and entity configuration manager, right? Yes, I know. You are right. You are right. Right? So what if the game had an entity configuration manager? And yes, I'm gonna cheat here. Can I clean this up while I'm here? Yes, please. Yes, please. I just want to shift this, please. Thank you, editor. Sorry about that. That's better. So in the setup, we somehow have to load this thing, right? But let's not talk about load. So let's assume here I have, so what I could do is I could say self dot entity configuration manager get config for o.crc, right? Let object configuration equals this, right? Oh, it's entity configuration. We just do a debug here. We could do this, right? And right now, and then we have all the info we need. Probably we will encapsulate this into some kind of factory if we have more time. Okay, I forgot the derived debugs here. Fair point. We're making a whole lot of mess now, but we have like half an hour, so. And obviously, let's just say config. Let's just say we return the first one, right? We're not gonna get here anyway. Get 0 unwrap. Because we know we have at least one, so we can just unwrap this, right? And this is a reference anyway. I hope. Coding by hoping. Really? We have to borrow the 0? Really? Oh, this is actually the first element, not the first. It doesn't matter. Oh, it does matter, so it will crash anyway. So we hit this try to get entity configuration without loading, right? So at some point we will need a pub function load, and we steal from our favorite load method. So load needs to be mutable self, and it needs the system, and it needs the name, right? Basically, it's this. Nope, it's this, right? And right now we just return true. And that means we need system. We need create system, right? And then somewhere in game, in the setup, actually very early, load configuration. And that is self dot entity configuration manager load entity config dot whatever, right? Right now we ignore that. Let's hardcode this to do actually load from a file, potentially maybe I don't give a foobar. So let's fake the load, right? So what does the load do? It gets a bunch of these, right? And does a bunch of this. So how could we fake this? I mean, we could just say self dot configs dot insert, right? And we say, for example, we take Roxy here, right? This is our hash. Oh, actually, we could use entity ID rock A, right? We use entity ID colon rock A SU32. And then we could say, and this is where it gets ugly and I don't want to do this. So we could do this, right? Could do this, and then we could do this, and this is basically size is vector2 new, vector2 new, and basically that's this here. Can I just get what I mark? Thank you. I get this, and then I do an animated texture configuration new, and that gets prefix as rock A, right? Prefix is rock A. It's 0 digits, it's 0, and we forgot the FPS, right? Oh, actually we said, well, no. Right, we could do this. We could actually say match self.configs.get crc. If that is some EC, we just pass that through, right? EC. If that is none, we just return any. So this is a print line warning, no configuration found for entity, right? But in this case, we know we have one entry, and we could move this here. here. And in this case, we just, well, we don't want the, I have to check Rust hash map. I just want to get any entry. I don't care which one at this point. I just want any. You could probably just say values and then values is an iterator, so we could just say values first, right? Unwrap. So if we don't have what you asked for, we just give you anything. Should never trigger is an emergency fallback. Load expect method not found. Oh. And load in game, obviously. 20 minutes, nice. This will need the system. Right. Values. An iterator visiting all values. Rust hash map get any entry. Mm-mm. 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 So get gives me an option of the key. Can I just get one? An iterator. This is an iterator, right? I could just do iter. Why do I do val? Well, can I just go? Can I just get the source, please? Iter. Iter has a first, right? Am I coding the wrong language now? Iterator. Where did I come up with that first? Where did I come up with that first? Well, I could just say next, right? If it's an iterator. I should stop. I should become someone else. Yes, because FPS is 20.50, and if we want to use rock A, we have to actually bring that in scope, right? Well, let's put fish at the bottom. Brain freeze. Where's the timer? There's the timer down here. 18 minutes 50 seconds. Okay, so this works. Obviously, I don't like this. Wouldn't it be nice if I could say self configs insert? Okay, let's live with that, because that will be replaced by the enum. But basically saying, hey, here, by the way, here's a 150, and then here's this stuff, right? Wouldn't this be nicer? And in context more readable. But we can do that, right? We can do that. Can't we? Let me try something. I mean, that's basically just type coercion from tuple to... Okay, let's just do this for the vector 2, right? I would like to do this one here, because it's more concise in this case. Right? Now it will tell me, hey, I wanted a vector 2, you gave me a tuple, right? 17 minutes to check this crazy stuff, yeah. Not gonna happen, but we will split this stream anyway, right? So this says, hey, wait, the insert expected 2 arguments. Oh, basically what I wanted to say is I want this, right? So now it's saying, wait. You gave me a tuple and found a tuple, right? I expected an entity configuration that you gave me a tuple. But we can fix that, right? So we can say implement from a tuple of vector 2 and an animated texture configuration for entity configuration, right? And now I need the compiler to help me with the... Oh, am I messing this up? Is this just a crazy idea? Oh, implement for... We just say, yeah, I give you a tuple, but I also give you a way to fix that, right? So implement the missing. Yep, we can do this. And this actually is not too hard, right? This is just a self where size is actually t.0 and animated texture configuration is t.1, right? Am I totally crazy? Is this all? I mean, do I say use this at home? No, 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 no. This is just found tuple float float and 4 previous errors. Where are the other 2 errors? Yeah, obviously, if we want to use it, we have to pass it, right? We cannot unname it when we want to use it later. So 2 errors. 2 errors. T not found in this scope, because this is this, right? It would be so nice. Well, we could say, can we say where T is this? Just put a T here. Oh, my Rust is not strong enough for this. We're far beyond the edges of my Rust ability. Can we do this? No entity configuration in what? Okay, this does not work. Okay, let's undo this. Maybe that's an optimization for another day. But this should work, right? Explicit tuple. Hey, don't sleep. Wake up. Thank you, I want to watch the stream at some point. Okay, so we only have 1 error. Well, yeah, because this is, oh, do I want to do this? I mean, could just say implement from frame, implement from f32 for, well, for vector 2, and say function from tuple f32. F32 would be nice to name these, and that is just a self, and that's just self where x is t dot 0 and y is t dot 1, right? So we have shorthand initialization for the vector. So when I do this, it should try to make this a vector. And then we have a vector 2 and an animated texture configuration, which should match this. And then we have an entity configuration, right? Right? Why not? Why can't you do this? This would have been so nice. This would have been so nice. What if we are explicit with the vector? Will that work? It is a tuple, but you know what to do with a tuple, right? Can I? Can I say into here? I mean, I don't want to say into here. Oh, that works. So can I actually say into here as well. And it's still an into there, but it's much less than. Okay, so this is much more concise, and then we just do the same for the animated texture configuration, right? So what if we say 9 minutes? Okay, implement from. I'm not sure this is a good idea. From tuple for animated texture configuration. From, and this is actually a string, an I8, a U16, a U16, and an F32, right? I say function from T, and it would be so nice if we could just refer to this. From this to self is self where prefix is str to owned, number is t.0 to owned, number of digits is t.1, first frame is t.2, last frame is t.3, and FPS is t.4, right? And then we can say, and we can get rid of this here. I mean, there's still too many intos in this equation. But at least it fits into one line, right? I'm not saying you should do it like this. I'm just saying we could do it like this. So what now in the game? In the game, right here, we have the EC, right? We have the entity configuration. What if our generic entity had a new from config, new from config, right? And then that gets entity configuration. That borrows an EC, right? What if we had that? And obviously that needs to return self, right? 6 minutes. I mean, then we could just say, hey, all of this could just say let E equal entity. It needs the type. It needs the type. But still, we could step one. We need a factory, but for example, for the rock, we could say in this case, let's say new from config, and that just gets the entity configuration, right? So if the obstacle had a new from config, we're just defining a new interface for all of this, right? Let's just do the default init here. And let's not do the setup, because the setup sets the name and everything. Let's not do the setup here, because I just want to see I think we have to abort and take a break, and oh, yep, we have to take a break. We forgot an import somewhere, right? Pattern not allowed in function without body. Oh, I hate traits. Why can't I? Wait, what? Pattern? Okay, cannot do that. What if he had a configure? Well, probably it's set up with config, right? I don't want to change the setup here right now. And the default implementation is just empty. So what if this new stays the same, right? And then we say r.setup with config, and that just gets the EC, right? Still thousands of errors, but 25 errors. I think I'll should stop here. Oh, obviously this needs a mutable self. Step 1. And then everything falls apart after that because I forgot the wait, non-item starts here. This is our default implementation, right? Oh, the thing is, if I don't implement that, missing setup with config. Okay, what if we do this? I wanted the, oh, that's better. The semicolon was, okay. Entity configuration not found in this scope. Fair. Because we have to use create Fiiish entities entity configuration, right? I hope that's the right path. No, my timer. Expected struct. Oh, we have to split the stream here. We'll do one more later. I mean, we still have like 3 minutes, but can't find pos in this scope. What? Oh, okay, okay, okay. So a new from config does not exist, right? It's set up from config. And that's the new pattern which will replace the okay, and this will be this. So self.size equals ec.size, right? Dereferenced. And then self.animated texture.setup. A lot of noise. I mean, it's basically ec.animated texture configuration prefix. Oh, we could just pass through the, oh, nice. So number of digits. Bing, bing, bing. First frame, and number of frames is basically last frame minus easy animated texture configuration dot first frame, right? And this is FPS. We probably pass it through and be done with it. Basically, this block here replaces all of this. And everything should be rock A now. Okay. Setup with config needs a mute self. Yes, absolutely. Time. We don't have time. One error. Let's at least fix the compile. Entity configuration not found in this scope. Fair enough. No need to be sloppy just because we're doing a bit of overtime. Yes, and the same problem here. I don't know why I keep doing this. Too much C++ in my life. Okay. Let's make these two actually public. It's just a read-only data container, so I don't really care. Okay, fair. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. So this, and we have to borrow the prefix. If this works, we just allow the animated texture to... Oh! So everything should be rock A now. Everything is rock A now. Well, every obstacle is rock A now. Just to prove a point, let's go here. And this is... Let's actually make this one line, right? Even if this line becomes a bit long for you, but... What if we said we insert rock B here, right? Rock B and just steal the values from the obstacle. So rock B was this. This needs to come from a configuration file. And then it's rock B. And that's all the same, right? So now we should have rock A and B. No, this is a temporary intermediate version. It's... And if it looks fishy, it's a fish game, so now we have rock A and B. And actually, this here is not too bad, right? C, D, E, F. So C, D, E, F, and this is basically these values down here. Can I just, please? 4 values? 5? Why do I have... Oh, because I have seaweed in there. So this is a massive cleanup. It's a cleanup in progress, but it's a cleanup. It's a cleanup in progress, but it's a cleanup. And the shader showdown is starting in like a second. I want all the rocks in the right place, and I'm happy. Oh. Oh! Oh! Maybe it helps to fix the rock IDs here. Right? All the rocks in the right places, then we take a little break. I don't know how long, but we'll be back. All the rocks. All the rocks. Yes, all the rocks, but we also have the seaweed as a rock. Well, I will see you later for obvious reasons, so thanks for being here. Be back in a moment. Shadow Showdown!